Welcome. This is Dr. Melody Harris Barrow here live in Miami. And I would love to say I want to thank Jaime Shafar and, of course, my dear brother, Alinko Sena. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing very well, Dr. Melida.
You're doing
Great,
great.
great, great. This is the journey of reconciliation of Mother Africa and her
Mm.
diaspora. That is the name of our show. And I want to thank everyone that's watching overseas in Africa, in Europe, in Latin America, everywhere in the United States. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. This is a very, very special show. And as you're tuning in, please, I need you to share with your friends, with your family, because this is going to be a very interesting show. The complexity of our mindset, and also versus the diaspora and Africa. We have a serious issue here tonight that we're going to talk about because this is very serious. This is what's keeping us behind. This is what's keeping us from even communicating with each other, even to get to know each other. This is a topic, very sensitive topic, because we are going to speak truth today. And the reason I say that is because many might get upset, but this is not the time to get upset, because when we speak truth, we still want to be in denial. We still want to believe what we were taught, and we have to purge our mind, our mindset, to get to know the truth. The gentlemen that I have here on this show, they know who they are, and they want to share the experiences that they've had over the years. And I myself, I still purging. We are still purging. And I'm going to continue to purge, because the more I purge, the more I get to know who I am, the more I can have a great relationship with God. So let's get this show started. I want to first introduce Jaime Shafar. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I would like to have you to introduce yourself this evening. Go ahead.
Yes, you pronounced it right. Uh,
Good.
yeah, my name is Jaime Shafar. Jaime being my real name. It's not spelled that way, but because I am an artist, I figured let me write this in a more creative way. Over the years, I learned that Jaime means in French, it means I love, and in Hebrew, it means my life. And a shofar is a instrument used by the Hebrews to call assemblies and also to call people to battle for war. So together, I put that together to call myself Jaime Shofar. My life will be used as a tool, an instrument to call the people together.
Yes, that's very good. You know why I like what you're saying is because you've decided. See, when you're purging, those are the things that you do. Once you purge, you start thinking about the name that you were giving. And then now you're trying to make sense of your name. You're trying to define your name. No one should define who you are. My brother, Sena Alinko, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I thank God. I just want to say hello to your viewers, to your platform. And I also want the viewers to understand and to know that you are the Yasantua. If they don't know Yasantua, the old Yasantua, the history Yasantua is gone. But I believe that you are an incarnation of that Yasantua. And I know you went to Ghana and people were calling you that. People were out of nowhere calling you that name. And
Yes.
so I believe that God and their ancestors are doing something special with you. So to answer your question directly, I'm doing well. I'm also more excited and energized, even after I had a long day, because I'm on this show with you. So yeah. So that's basically, I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to be on this show with Brother Jaime and yourself.
Yes, thank you so much. This is very special to all of us. One of the things that I want to thank you, Senna, for being my brother. You know I love you a lot. We work together. But I would also like you to introduce your show that you have every Wednesday. Please talk about that, because we're here to also let people know the things that you guys are doing. Go ahead.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity. The name of the show is The Progressive Mind Show, as you see it. The Progressive Mind Show was birthed out of my passion for the well-being of people, my passion for the community. I didn't
Yeah,
come to America. I didn't come to America to do radio. Actually, I never thought of radio. I went to college in Ghana, came here to do came here for grad school, and was just chasing the American dream like everybody else.
that's right.
And had no clue that I was going to be on radio. I just got an invitation to a local radio station in Chicago, and to be a guest
Yes.
to speak in the Ghanaian local dialect. And after that night,
Wow.
after that night, my life changed. It was like
Wow.
everything that I had built,
Yes.
grad school, data management, building a business, at the time I was married, doing all of that. Nothing else mattered to me. I felt like the voice that God gave me, I felt like I'd always had a voice, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, my voice came alive, And so I wanted to use my show. I wanted to use that voice to represent the voiceless. I also wanted to use it to build my community. Build community means engaging folks in dialogues that about pertinent issues that are going on in our community
Right.
to enhance and build our community. That is the essence of the Progressive Mind Show. How can I use my platform to bring the
That's right.
diaspora together, right? To connect
Yes.
Africans, Caribbeans, because I had seen the divisiveness, but then I had seen it and I only talk about it. So I
Yes.
asked myself, how can I do something about it? And all this time I was asking myself these questions, I didn't know how. But when I met radio, I'm like, God, this is it. I'm going to try my best to do the work, because I felt like God gave me that work to try and mend the relationship between us, because I knew and I saw the power. I always felt the power that
Yeah.
was that existed in the diaspora, but I felt like we were just not talking to each other. And so we're not making use of that power. So I started on that journey, and the rest is history. We've done a lot together with that. You've been part of the journey, and here we are now doing major things.
Yes.
Actually, one coming up January with Reverend Jesse Jackson, the exchange ceremony. The last time we did that was at the table. You were the main speaker,
Yes.
and it's coming on again next year. Actually, you were part of the monthly conversation at
Yes.
Chicago State.
Yes. Yes.
So you know the story.
Yeah.
People don't know. A lot. You are being, and actually, you don't know the story. You have been part of the story, right? And I feel like this is the path that God has put me on, and I wouldn't bore your audience too much about telling my story, because it's a lot from
Yeah.
where God
It's a lot.
from where God took me, and to this point on this journey. It's a lot. A lot has been done. I thank Him that He's done a lot through our submissiveness to His will and leaving everything
Yes.
behind,
Right.
sacrificing comfort,
Yes.
and then
And
deciding that we're going to do this hard work. And so that is a little bit about the Progressive Mind Show. And I think that as we go along, of course, people can look it up on our website. But as we go along, a little bit more details of me and the show will be coming up. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I want us to talk now about the complexity, my God, of our mindset.
Mm.
There were so many of us Africa was colonialized, and the Americas and the Caribbean were enslaved. Is it different? I don't think so. But tonight, we are going to talk about it, the mindset. First of all, I want to start by saying that the mindset has a lot to do with our freedom. Our mindset has to do with economy between each other. The mindset has to do with what are we planning on doing now? Because with this mindset that we have now, I know some people are seeking truth, but the mindset of today, if we're not careful, we're going to go another 500 years. So that's what I want to talk about today. Because if your mindset, because this is what people say, I wish things were, I wish things were the way it used to be. Well, if it's the way it used to be, guess what? We're going to be in this situation. I don't want my mind to be the way it used to be. I don't want 500 years ago that mindset is today. We have to change the mindset according to time. So I want to bring this over to you, Jaime, because I want us to talk. These are issues now. These are deep issues that I want you to express. Now, let me ask you: were you born in Panama or were you born in the U.S.?
Oh, I was born in Panama.
Okay, so he's Panamanian, and he's going to talk about his experience being Panamanian in the United States. That's number one. Number two, I want you to talk about how, if you have had any interactions with Africans from Africa here in the United States. Go ahead.
Yes, I was born in Panama, but I grew up here in the States. I left Panama when I was 3 years old. Okay. So the Panamanians really, like, a lot of Panamanians see me and they see what you call a gringo. You know?
That is correct. In other words, an American. Yes, an American. Yeah.
Right. And don't talk to me in Spanish because I didn't really learn Spanish that well. I know a little bit, but I don't know a lot. So my experience here as a Panamanian, I mean, being around my family, that was good. I learned, you know, salsa, some of the foods and the things we did, you know, back home. And, you know, I did travel back and forth, seeing my grandmother. But most of my life was spent here and around other cultures. Like the American culture is very much embedded in me. I don't really know Panamanian culture that much, I must say.
But I want to know, Jaime, I want to know your experience with Africans and yourself. How do they treat you when they're here in the United States? What is the type of experience that you have had?
Right. My first real experience with Africans wasn't really good. It kind of felt like, you know, they kind of shunned African Americans. We weren't really seen as African. Like when we use that term African American, but most people don't even see the African. We just focus on the American part, forgetting that we are African. And that's how the Africans looked at us. They never really looked at, you know, the fact that we are Africans. My son's mother lived in a building full of Africans and they wouldn't even speak. You couldn't even get them to really speak to you. I never really had any real experience with Africans deep until I got with a girlfriend. I got a girlfriend out in Maryland, and she was African. And then I started to see another side, and I got a little bit more personal.
Right, right. Senna, you are from Ghana. Yes. What he's saying, because this is the topic that I want us to focus on, the mindset. Because one of the issues that I've had myself, I came here in 1976, and one of the issues that I've had, and now that I'm visiting Africa, I'm learning more about Africans. And I want us to openly talk about this, because it is important now for us to talk about why is it Africans, when they come to the United States, they feel superior to African American, but they don't feel superior to Europeans here in the country. We have been having this issue. I want to speak truth today because this is why I have this show. Go ahead, Senna.
Thank you. And just for clarity's sake,
Yes.
I know it's Alinko on the screen. But of course, you're saying Senna, so I'm sure some of your audience will be wondering.
Oh, I'm
So which
sorry.
one?
Yes,
No.
Alinko.
That's fine. No, that's fine. Everybody, a lot of people call me Senna as well. I just wanted to clarify for your audience, for folks who are watching us.
Right.
So
Right.
Alinko is my nickname. I got it from a very famous Nigerian or African comedian because I was very funny when I was growing up. I think I still got a little bit of that.
I think so too.
And then Senna is my Ghana name. I'm from the Ewe tribe in Ghana, and Senna means God's gift. And so, just for clarity's sake, so I keep Senna. Most of the people call me Senna, and then Alinko is, of course, my nickname. But great question. So it's loaded, but I'll try. Africans do that to the point where I told you this, that in Africa, actually, let me say this, in Ghana specifically, we would call, or there's a term, the Caucasians are known as Obroni. Okay, Obroni is Obroni in the Chi dialect, which is the most prevalent dialect spoken in the whole of Ghana. We refer to the Caucasian European as Obroni. Now, due to that mental slavery, due to the fact that they gave us white Jesus and made our ancestors and basically turned most Africans into believing that the Caucasian is God, the Caucasian is Jesus, the Caucasian or the European is a representative of the God or the Jesus that we came to accept and love and worship. Because mind you, the African is very, very spiritual. So our God, our Jesus, our spiritual supreme being is everything to us. So once we got indoctrinated that the supreme being that we've always known looks like the European, or maybe is European, or actually is from Europe, our mindset has been kept that way, and it has trickled down to the point where when we see an European, we are seeing him we are seeing
Like a
him as
God.
somewhat, there you go.
Like a
So
God.
yes, so we see him better than us.
Yes.
In our mind, that is our God. That is the supreme being that is better than us. So anything that is light skin, like my brother Jaime looks and you look, as long as you are anything lighter and closer to the European skin, you are better than me that looks brown or dark. And we treat each other, even in Africa, the same way, because Africans have different colors, skin colors, or shades. Right. There are Africans who are very, very light skinned. Like from my tribe, we tend to be very light skinned naturally. We tend to have dark and light skin. Nigeria too. Some of the tribes in Nigeria have that. But here's my point: the fact that I'm a Ghanaian and I'm from the Ewe tribe. The fact that there are people who are lighter than me in my culture, those individuals are looked on as better humans or better people than me. So that if I were dating a girl, or if I were going to date a girl, if a girl was to date a guy, the lighter the skin, the better you are. And so light skin, to the point, and the point I was going to make about Obroni, to the point that the thing has entrenched in our system, in Ghanaian system, to the point that the Akans have there's a music, or there are a couple of lyrics or music in Ghana that has a phrase that goes like this: "Mi bro nie anya misa." What that means in Akan is, my white person or my European, don't treat me in a bad way. Like, treat me well. It's like you're talking to your lover and you say, hey, treat me nice, be nice to me, that type of thing. So basically what we are doing is, so we have a couple of music that refers to our queen. So that is us referring to our queen, our beautiful ladies. So Obroni has become like an adjective to describe
Right.
beauty. Like if you were trying to give your queen the utmost accolade for beauty
Right.
or gorgeousness, Obroni is the word. So it has become an epitome of beauty.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so if so you can imagine if the people have this mindset,
Yes.
even in Africa, how much more when we come here? We come to the European land, the white man land. Oh my God! And fortunately, his country looks better, beautiful, more beautiful than us, or at least developed than ours. So we're like, he is a better person than me. I have to respect him subconsciously. It's not like
Yes.
even you have to. You are being indoctrinated. So you see
Yes.
him as a better human being, and you treat him more specially than
Right.
than your fellow black man. Because mind you, you look down upon yourself and you look at him as a superior being, right?
Yes.
So if you're not respecting yourself, how are you going to respect another black man who has a different culture in a different location outside Africa? So the
Wow.
problem could be, yes, the problem becomes very compounded. And this
Yes.
is the reason why a lot of Africans who have missed the chance to educate ourselves as
Right.
to who we are, where we come from, and what we actually possess. To the
Right.
point that we have very high intellectuals,
Right.
doctors, engineers, people, Africans who have come here and have gone to school and have studied, and they're anything that you can think of. But the education of ourselves and who we truly are is what
Yes.
we are missing. And so
Yeah.
you can see the most educated Ghanaian or African, and he's looking at his fellow black man in Europe or in America, where else,
Yeah.
and he's looking at him like he is a less of a human being because
Right.
guess what? We don't know who we are and we don't have that regard for ourselves. We
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
another human being is better than us, and we don't have that self-reflection and that self-honor for ourselves, let alone for our brothers and sisters in the African American community or in the Caribbean community.
Yes. I want to take this moment now. Those of you that are watching this show, I would love for you to share the show because actually we're going to show some pictures from people from Latin America. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I am educating, especially Africans, that we are your brothers and sisters. We were taken by force uh, for slavery, and also we have had and know that that also kings and queens have also sold us for slavery. But one of the things I want to say about that, though, is that I wonder because I was in Ghana not too long ago and I visited the Cape Coast. And this is where they were taking Africans for slavery. But I wonder if those that were selling their children, their brothers and their sisters, did they have any idea of what was going to happen to them?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think so. That's my opinion. That is my opinion because slavery in Africa was different. You know, they were considered maids. They were considered, you know, people that did the lawn, etc., etc. But the thing is that I don't think they understood or they knew what they were going to go through. And I'm going to show you, Africans, my brothers and sisters. I am going to show you when you speak about Cape Coast. Everybody gets so sentimental, and you have every right to be sentimental about this. But then when I was there, I'm saying to myself, were they educated as to what really happened once they landed in the Americas and the Caribbean? And I'm going to show you right now. I would like to show you some pictures. This is what happened to your brothers and your sisters from Africa. Picking cotton. So and children, these are your children. These are the great, 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 great grandchildren. These are your brothers and sisters. So when you come to America, don't say that we are not your brothers. Please, we are not foreigners to you. We are your brothers and your sisters. And I'm just going to show you just a few pictures. This is what happened to your brothers and your sisters. These are the children that was taken from Africa. This man was being hung. And once this happened, they would stand around and take pictures and then have a picnic. This is what was happening to your sisters. So the reason why I am having this show is because the journey of reconciliation of Mother Africa and her diaspora, this is the diaspora right here, how they were hung on trees and everybody standing there just taking pictures. This is your brothers. These are your brothers and your sisters. So what I am saying is, how can you say now that they are foreign to you? We are in a place right now that we need to speak truth. We need to understand the truth, because if we don't understand the truth, this is going to happen again. So, Senna, what you said is the truth, because I've experienced it. But this is what I've experienced. Oh no, you're not African American, you're Panamanian, as though the title is the difference and define me differently because I was born somewhere else. I want my audience to understand that the very same people that you see here picking cotton, they are the ones that built America. That is how strong and resilient we are. We built America. We built the White House. We were builders and creators. So when I hear Europeans say, well, my great-grandfather came to the US and made something of himself. Yeah, it's because they had favoritism. You see, racism in America hurt African Americans, and it's still happening today. So when we are talking about how your forefathers came here and made something of themselves, is because we as Black people made it happen for them in order for them to enjoy what they are enjoying today. I'm going to let you step in, Jaime. Go ahead.
You know, we didn't just arrive here on our own. You know, racism played a major role. The strives that we made in the past and things that we were trying to do to better ourselves was always infiltrated and made sure to be destroyed to keep us in this situation. Great leaders like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, these guys were brought down to keep us in this position. When the Panthers were moving and taking over the community, what is the guy named, the head of the CIA, J. Edgar Hoover? He sent agents to watch them and destroy them. So all this is by design. You know, you can't look at other nationalities or races that come here in America and say, well, look what they're doing. You know, they're striving, they're bettering themselves. Look at the position they are. What's wrong with these people? They haven't been attacked the way we have been attacked here in America. You understand? They have not even experienced that, not even close. In fact, when they come here, some of them come with the money supported from their countries to start businesses. And even if they don't have that, and when they come here, they're able to get business loans a lot quicker than a Black person here African American here is able to get. You know, they will quicker give you loans for, you know, a car or even mortgage to get a house, put you in to go to school, student debt. But when it comes to getting a business, you find that it is hard. I know a lot of people that tried to get business loans and were denied. And I'm starting to realize is because if you give, you know, someone a business loan, you are empowering them. And that's not America's business. America is not here to empower African Americans. They, by design, they want to keep us here because if we ever were left alone to, you know, do our own thing without any interruption, any interference, they know the power that resides in us. We will be just fine. If you look at Black Wall Street, look at the things we've done in the past that they made sure to destroy. And I know you said, you know, you said earlier about like a mindset and that you want to evolve and grow, and we shouldn't have the same mindset. And that's true. I absolutely agree with that. But there are elements and pieces of the past. Like when we were segregated, listen, I say this and a lot of people don't agree with me, but I feel like we were better off during segregation than we are now.
Yeah, because we had to be independent. We had to be independent. We were forced to be independent. And once we became independent, they destroyed what we built.
Yes.
I also want to talk about more now about the mindset, because if you are thinking to serve versus to build and create, we're going to continue to have problems, because most of us were taught to go to college. Once we came out of college, what happened? We had to go to the very same people that oppress us in order to give us a job. So the mindset of today is to look for a job. But there are so many people that are now saying, I want to start my business. But why are they saying that? Because a lot of them now are being forced to go into that direction, because there is, well, I won't say there's no jobs, but there's no jobs to fulfill your needs. You understand? So the mindset has to change. Why I'm having this show is because I want our brothers and sisters to understand something very, very important. Stop looking Africans, Africa, stop looking at us as foreigners. We are brothers and sisters. We were taken by force, okay? So what I am trying to say is that if we come together, the African diaspora and Africa, imagine the power that we have. Imagine that the power that we can begin now to work together. I want to show you guys something, because Africans tend to, when they talk about Latin America, they will say South America. Why? The education in Africa. They don't want you to know more than Brazil. They want you to stay there. They want you to think that Panama don't exist, Nicaragua don't exist, Ecuador don't exist. We exist. Let me show you really quick my brothers and sisters in the diaspora. They look just like you, from Guyana, from Suriname, from Colombia. These are all people in Latin America. These are all your brothers and your sisters in Panama. Okay, this is Panama right here, celebrating their ethnicity. These are photos that we can say that we're all brothers and sisters. Now, we're getting ready now, Panama, to have this huge event. God gave me this this is a vision that God gave me. And I'm going to tell you something. This is what he said in my dreams. Connect African brothers and sisters with their African brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And you are going to see the power that we possess. You see, we're all separated for a reason. And oftentimes, I always say that when African Americans say that the crabs, the crabs in a barrel, let me tell you something about that. I want you guys to ask yourself, who does the barrel belong to and who put the crabs in the barrel? That is a question nobody ever asks. All we keep saying is going from one generation to the next saying the crabs in the barrel. Well, let me tell you something. With a free mind, and the only way you can free your mind is changing that mindset. And then we're going to figure out, why is it that the crabs are coming out, forcing themselves to come out? It's not that they're trying to tear each other down, it's that they already know that they don't belong there. They belong in the sea. Once they come out of the sand, they go straight to the sea. So what I'm saying to you is that this is what's happening to us today, but we can change it. We can change it. I'll pass it over to you, Senna. You want to make a comment on that?
Yeah, no, powerful points made, guys. Um, I really like this topic, and I really want to stay on the mindset.
Yes.
But I want to speak from the African perspective because I'm an African,
Yes.
and I know how Africans. I wouldn't say all Africans, but I understand, and I know some of the things they say, and how, what they think of African Americans and all of that. When I was growing up in Ghana, we would call African Americans, we call them actually Black Americans. And we didn't know a lot about Black Americans, African Americans today. We didn't know a lot. All we knew was we saw them on TV playing basketball or maybe Olympics, doing something, So all we saw was sports, maybe Michael Jackson or Mike Tyson will fight. So sports, athleticism, entertainment, we watch all the hip hop song, Tupac, Biggie, all of that. So the average African, be it an adult or youth, only relates and only saw the African American in that light. So even though we could see people who look like us, we couldn't connect.
Couldn't relate.
We couldn't
Wow.
connect. We couldn't connect, but we could relate from the social cultural standpoint, because we like the hip hop. You see kids, young people walking around with durags and hoodies and Timberlands and 90 degrees, because we could relate socially. The pop culture. You see young kids rapping on the street, trying to be like Tupac or Snoop Dogg and all of that. But but we couldn't connect that, these guys were actually our cousins, or they could be our cousins who were taken away from us. We had no idea.
Yeah.
I walked around. Now, let me tell you this. I am someone who thinks, when I was going to college, all the way from elementary through college, I like to listen to the news. I like to, get to read newspaper. I thought I was a little informed, at least, and had no clue about the history of slave trade. Because guess what? There were so many times that I walked past the castle in Osu Castle, which used to be the seat of government before it was changed. I saw the dungeons, I saw the castles,
yes,
and did not know what happened there.
Right.
I didn't see the story. I didn't hear it. It wasn't explained to me. So that being said, having no idea about my connection with the African American or the Black Americans that I see on TV, I also didn't see them as scientists or educationists or religious leaders or political leaders. I did not see someone like maybe Congressman Daniel Davis or the John Lewis. We did not know they even held any political power, or they were aldermen or mayor. had no idea. So the African youth, or I'll say a lot of African youth and the average African could not connect intellectually with the African American or the Black American because we didn't see any of that. If there was a textbook that I was supposed to read in school, in primary school, elementary or high school or college, it wasn't written by a Black man. The name would be a European name. Even if it was a Black African American who wrote it, we didn't know. We just ascribed everything good in the West to the white man. He built everything. The Black man, we had no idea, contributed nothing to the development of the West or America. So you grow up not having this knowledge and that type of connection with your fellow Black people outside the continent. And so when you come here, you are looking at them like, okay, you know, who are these people? They talk different,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and then compound to that gap of
Yeah.
knowledge. When we come here, we watch NBC, ABC, because we don't know any better. You come to live with your uncle, your auntie, whatever, you know, or they turn on ABC local news,
Yeah.
and you see the negative narrative of the African American community, right? Say gunshot, armed robbery, that kind of thing, right? Okay.
Right.
So now, your auntie, your uncle is telling you, see those people, don't mess with them because they too.
Yes. Yes.
Because they,
Yes.
because
I was told that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
now you sitting down, you are messed up. You were like, okay, these people. So in your mind, Dr. Melinda, let me tell you this. In your mind,
Yes, I know.
you were looking at the African American or anybody that looks like African American and sounds like an African American, like
Yes.
some alien that you can't mess with.
Yes. Yes.
In the mind, in your subconscious. Now, when you start working with them and relating with them, you're talking with them, you're having a relationship with them, but you still deep in your heart, you're like, they're not, look, it's deep. You can't even connect. Even though you see the skin looks like you, there is no connection. We say these people, oh, those people, oh, these people. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that happened to me too.
Yeah, now, it happened to me too. My parents told me. Yeah.
But what I realized was when I'm talking to them, there was a brother, and he was very fun and jovial. I'm like the way he's thinking, he's making jokes like me. Like his mannerisms is just like some of the things I would do. But I'm like, I'm learning from this guy and I'm knowing him for myself, and he's not fitting to what I have been told about them, right? So what I realized was that I'm like, oh, these folks, they are regular folks. They're just regular folks like us.
That's right. Yeah.
Then when I started having conversations, then I started learning about their story. Like my brother Jaime said about segregation, about Black Wall Street and what happened to Black Wall Street and what happened to slavery. Then I started reading literature. I started reading little stuff. But I'm like, okay. So these people are not necessarily trying to shoot themselves on the street because they love doing that. But there are so many situations that have happened to them. Then I started connecting that to what was going on in Ghana. Because in Ghana, you have the youth who will go on the street and rob because they don't have a job.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that some of the negative things, a few of the negative things that was going on in the African American community, I connected to back home because I realized it was happening back home too. So I'm like, we're no different. The struggle is the same.
Exactly.
The struggle is the same. They speak. The only difference that I started realizing was that they talk different. Yes, exactly. Language. And they're American. It even took me like 5 to 6 years to realize that the African American contributed, actually built this country. I had no clue. Even after my 5 years, after my 5 years of working here, going to grad school, thinking that I am educated and I have some level of intelligence, had no clue. So I started learning. The more I dated an African American lady, Actually, most of the women that I've dated here will be African Americans. Now, so let me just get that. That was just a disclosure, okay? That was just a little bit. But anyway, I had friends. I had African American, guy friends. And again, my point is, the more we interact, because the extent to which in our mind, the extent to which we have been blocked from the African American is very, very deep.
Yes, it's deep. Yes.
To this day, you have intellectuals and a lot of people referring to them as those people. And I'm like, bro, they are not those people.
Yeah.
So let me end it
here.
Your
people. They're your people. They're your people. You want to say something, Jaime?
While brother Alinko, right? I'm saying that right?
Yes.
You got it. You got it.
Right? Earlier, when I know you was trying to make a distinction, but I don't think you understand how that distinction that you was trying to make between the black people who grew up here and Africans, you was jumping between calling them African Americans and then black Americans.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you see, we don't even identify, and that's the barrier that's there, because Americans that are blacks that grew up here don't identify with the African part. So we never really were able to, get together with Africans that migrated here and know their culture, understand who they are. We couldn't connect with them because we didn't even identify with the African part of African American. We don't identify with that. Yeah. So when we see them, we see Africans. Yeah. That's it. We don't even say we don't even look to say, that's my brother. None of that. We just see Africans. They're different from us. That's how we see it. That's Africans. That's whatever they do. That's what they do. And what we do is what we do. The only thing we share is our skin color. And that was it.
Yeah.
One of the things, one quick point. I think that's why what we're doing is very important. I think the youth of Africa, they have to start seeing and learning and knowing about the intellectual piece of the puzzle that makes that encompasses or that fulfills our relationship. Because like I said, socially we connect, religiously we could, intellectually we're not connecting because we don't know about your history, and that we don't see Jaime who works in the bank. We never saw that. We only saw the street life on TV, right? And we only saw the basketball. So that even makes the gap deeper. And so what needs to be done is educating the African here in the diaspora and more so in Africa, because the majority of Africans are on the continent, and majority of them have this deep problem that I'm talking to you about, that gap. However, if we continue with this education and the youth more especially begin to connect that the African American is not only about hip hop or sports, but they also have financial or economical power, political power.
Yes.
Then the African youth will start looking up to the African American, or at least looking forward to working with the African American for the development of Africa. Because what is happening is that if an African wants to go into development, they want to build a bridge, manufacture something, let's go call the Chinese and let's go call Americans and Europeans, because the white man, he knows how to build. We don't know that the African American also have the capacity, or have the capacity in all these categories, financially, politically, intellectually, and all of that, to build bridges, to build factories, to help in research. We only know that the Chinese can do it, that Europeans can do it. As Africans, we don't know how. We can do it. African Americans, our brothers and sisters in America, they don't know. We don't know about them. We don't know they can do it. So the only person that can help us is the Chinese, the Asians, or Europeans. And so
Right.
we are looking everywhere else to connect, but to our brothers and sisters in America. And that is the huge gap that has existed for decades and centuries. And that is why what we're doing is very important. When
Yes.
we unlock their mind, when we unlock and we start connecting, that is where I feel that
Yes.
we can unleash this huge opportunity that can be beneficial not to just Africans or African Americans or the Afrocentric community, but to the entire society because of the
Yes.
value and the richness
Exactly.
and the intellect that we have. I'll have you go on, Dr. May. I just wanted to get this point out.
No, I want you to. I want you to. But one of the things I wanted to inject there is that I've been to Africa and quite a few times in different countries. And what I've noticed is this: you call yourself Ghanaians, Congolese, South Africans. And this is what the colonializers have done. They have segregated even Africans in Africa. In other words, I'm proud to be South African. I'm proud to be Ghanaian. You're all the same people. So what I am recognizing and what I've recognized is that not only have Europeans separated us by countries, by regions, but also within Africa. Because if you continue to think that you're different, a Ghanaian is different from a South African and a Nigerian, I've heard this also in conversations with Nigerians, we are the most intelligent Africans in Africa. And these are the things that causes confusion between us. Because if we continue to separate us, it's just like in here in the United States, we have how many times are they going to name us? First, we were Negroes, then we were so many other names, and then we become Black, and then African American. It's same thing like in Latin America. First, we were Latinos. Now we're Afro-Panamanians, Afro-Colombians. If we continue to accept what our oppressors are naming us and we are accepting it, then they'll know that your mind is still not free. Your mind needs to be free because no one is going to name me. I was born in Panama, but I'm a woman from Africa. My descendants, as they would say, are from Africa. So if I want to call myself an African woman, I have every right to. And I hope no one ever come and tell me that I'm a Latina. I'm a Black woman and proud to be a Black woman. In Panama, when I was growing up, I heard dark women will call themselves, I'm Black and I'm ugly. Why do those two words connect together? Even in conversations, I remember as a little girl, that there's a neighbor, she was very dark. And in her conversation, oh, I know I'm Black and ugly, but I don't care, but that is a stigma. That is something that she's been going through all her life. What we need to know is who we are. Then we will be able to embrace who we are. And this is why God gave me this vision. And that is the vision of connecting all of us together. Because I don't care if you talk about business, if you're being rich, you are still oppressed. Once you open your mind and realize that all of us been bamboozled to think that we're different, then we're going to continue another 500 years the way we are. I want to introduce to you today, the vision is now a reality. In Panama, African kings and queens are coming to Panama in order to build together. Yes, they're coming to tell the African diaspora, the children that was taken by force from Africa, and those kings and queens back then that sold their brothers and sisters. Now the kings and queens from Africa are coming to atone. And I don't like to use the word, nobody likes to use the word atone, but they're coming to tell their brothers, I'm sorry for what our ancestors have done to you. And this is going to be a connection. The first time in history, this is going to happen. And I'm going to show you the date of this. So we'll be right back. These are the things that are coming. I cannot continue to talk about history without action. We cannot, none of us, because what we're doing, we're talking about reparations. I don't have a problem with reparations, but I'm not just going to talk. We all have to go into action. We have to realize that it is time now for us to sit down and talk with each other. I know of many people that start their business and they're going around in circles and circles and circles. That is because we all need, God wants us to do this. God wants us to come, sit down and talk about the future. How are we going to protect our children today? How are we going to protect our children of the future? The young people today, you have to prepare for your brothers and sisters that are coming. You have to prepare mentally. And the young people have a whole different narrative. They know something is wrong, but they have to go into action. And Jaime, I am going to say something, because you as a young man and many other young men can't sometimes figure out what's going on. But I think it's time for us to continue to seek the truth. The truth is important. If we don't seek the truth, we are going to continue to suffer, because there's so many people that are suffering today. They're killing our brothers and sisters in America and in the world. This is not just an American issue. This is an issue, period, of all of us. So this is why our kings and queens are coming to Panama. And they are saying it's time now for us to begin a new day. And that day is now. So all of you that are watching this show, if you want to participate, subscribe, call us, and I'll put the information, email us, because now, Jaime, is the time for us all to come together.
That's
if
right.
anyone have any comments? And if you have any comment, please go ahead, because we're going to be closing in a minute. Go ahead.
No. That you well said. Well said. That's a nice way to close. I just feel like, you know, what we everybody needs to identify with Africa. There's so much confusion because Black people, we're so great. We're all over the globe, right? We're everywhere. We're everywhere on this planet. So it's hard to identify with just one thing. But I feel like if we want to bring that unity, we need to just identify with Africa. You know, I know we love the countries and everywhere people where we grew up, and, we're everywhere, like I was saying, but I feel like if we want that unity, everybody needs to just identify with Africa. Like here, sometimes when I'm filling out an application, do you know how many different
I know, yes,
on there? Sometimes I'm like, man, Black, I see black, there's African American, there's Hispanic. I'm like, yo, what do I even put here?
Yeah.
Sometimes just filling out an application can be confusing to Black Americans, African Americans here. And I feel it's something Garvey said, right? Garvey said, you know, he would never give up a continent or give up a continent for an island. And what he essentially was saying is that even though I am Jamaican, I am African first. And that's where he put his focus. He didn't focus on him being Jamaican. No, he focused on him being African. And if we all did that, we can see a change.
Yes, I agree with you. And one of the things also I want to say is that everyone wants to go to Africa, but does Africa have itself together? That's a big question. You know, we talk about corruptions, we talk about hating each other. The mindset have to be corrected first. But then we are the ones that's supposed to come together to inform you why things are happening in Africa, who is causing these issues. Because when I look at Africa, I still see so many things that the Europeans left. We're talking about independence. We're talking about
what?
Is that you?
Ike. That's the name. Ike. Yeah, it's the Ike. Yeah. You know her? No, I don't know her.
Yeah. Alinko. Let me see if I can mute Alinko. Yeah. And these are the things that we have to. Africa, you got to get yourself together. And I know you are. There's so many changes in Africa right now. So many changes.
So what are they? Yeah. So no, but why was she living?
We have to recognize that these things are happening now, but we have to come together and help you, and you help us. So this is why this program, the journey of reconciliation of Mother Africa, we are going to do this next year, May 18th through the 25th. We're coming together. We have to stop doing all this talking and go into action. We're going to go into closing right now, Alinko. Please go ahead and close out if you have anything to say. Thank you.
Yes, I have a lot to say. I wish we can. Oh man. Yeah, I wish we could do. But so what we're trying to do now in February, coming February, Black History Month, is the exchange ceremony, which we initiated again 2019. The goal was, and the vision is, making sure that we can connect the African diaspora, but we can do it in such a way that is infused with culture, that brings us healing, and that brings us solidarity. And so that's what is happening. That's what happened in 2019, and we wanted to repeat it every year, but COVID came. So next year, February 5th, Black History Month, we're beginning Black History Month with the exchange, and we're bringing Blacks, African Americans, Caribbeans, Latinx, and Latinx is Central America, right? Too, right? I know you've been educating me on this.
Say that again.
I know you said it's not Central America, but it's Latinx. Is that correct?
No. We have South America, Central America. Yes.
There you go. Yeah. We're bringing the African diaspora together in a nutshell, to celebrate our culture, and to be very intentional about it. That as we do this every year, showing the world that we embrace who we are, we embrace our culture, and we are bonding and connecting and healing and intentionally interacting with each other so we can know each other better. As we do this, we foster the bond that's within the global African. As we do this, our children can have confidence. They can point to a community that is not only that's not only Black or Africans, but it's a community that is enriched with culture, a
Yes.
community that is enriched with passion and love and unity, and so that they can be confident in their heritage. So these are the reasons why we're doing it. And again, so everybody that's watching us, Chicago is going to be done at the Rainbow Push. We're going to be honoring Reverend Jesse Jackson in a very special way. You can look on the progressivemindshow.com website for more details, or you can check out our social media handles on Instagram and Instagram, Facebook, and then Twitter. We're going to be sending our flyer, and promotional materials are not yet out, but they're going to be rolling out very soon. Sometime, but before this weekend or next week, you're going to be seeing promotional materials on this. But yes, February 5th, next year, February 5th, at Rainbow Push, we're going to be cooperating with Rainbow Push Coalition in hosting the exchange ceremony. For the second time. And Dr. Melida, of course, is our main speaker. And we're expecting a whole bunch of people coming to celebrate us as a people of the African diaspora.
And this is going to be in Chicago, right?
This is going to be in Chicago at the Rainbow Push. Yes, the only Rainbow Push in Chicago. The Reverend Jesse Jackson's organization, Rainbow Push Coalition, is where it's going to be happening at. And we're going to be honoring him. We're going to give him a special honor because he embodies what we call in Africa if African king. He embodies an African king. He embodies an African chief. He embodies an African elder. He embodies an African leader. All the attributes that goes with these leaders in the African society, he embodies it. And we're going to be conferring on him a special honor in an African traditional way that's going to be unique and beautiful. So just watch out for the 5th of February, man. Again, one of the reasons why you have to be there is Santua, Dr. Melida is going to be the main speaker. So you expect nothing but the best.
Before we go, I want to say this as you were speaking about, we went over the hour, but you know what? We have to talk about these things. I'm not even looking at time right now. One of the things I want to share also with the audience is the similar thing happened to me when I first came to this country in 1976. I was told by my father, actually, not to go to the south side of Chicago. Don't ever live on the south side of Chicago or the west side of Chicago. Only stay north side. And the reason why is because the people there are dangerous. And now we're talking about the same people. We're talking about African American. And I think what happened to me, there was a fear, put in me. And I would go downtown, Lakeshore Drive, all these other areas. And I did not fear white people. I feared my own people. And that is because of the propaganda, because of all the things that we hear day in and day out. So when I went to high school, I had a friend. She was the only African American friend that I had. I mostly seeked out people from the Caribbean and Latin America and so forth. But because of that fear, but she became my friend. She became my friend until today, actually. So one of the things that we have to be careful of is that all of you that are coming from Latin America, from the Caribbean, and when you're Black and you're telling yourself you're not Black because you're from another country, and you tell yourself, I'm not Black, but I'm Panamanian. I'm not Black, but I'm Jamaican. I'm not Black, but I'm from Ecuador. So all of us that are fooling ourselves, stop it. Because when Europeans look at you, they don't say that. All of you are one. You're all Black people. So if that makes you feel good, you see, trust me, it doesn't work in this world. If you're Black, you're Black. You just telling yourself you're not Black due to the fact of what they have said about African American. But you also have to realize what they have gone through for you to come to this country in order. They gave you a silver platter and you running around saying, oh, I'm not black, because you don't want Europeans to think of you as a black person. Because I worked at Weiss Hospital when I was like 19 years old, and that was a Jewish hospital. And when I first worked at the front desk, I was told, oh, you know, you are the first black person that ever worked at the front desk. And when I opened my mouth, because of course I had a deep accent then, and then they go, oh, but you're not from here. You are from Panama. Now that makes a difference. So these are the psychological things that we go through every single day. Every time we leave our house, do you know we go through psychological issues? You know, as black people, when you see a white person, everything changes. The way you talk, the way you act, you know, I'm surprised
Africans.
you're not crazy.
You mean as Africans, if that is as that
All of us, all Africans, from
Everybody.
Africa, from Latin America, from the Caribbean, all of us.
yes,
We
yeah.
change everything of us. We change the way we talk. Am I right, Hyman? We
Yeah.
change the way we talk. We humble ourselves. We do all these things. And we have to change that.
And then when we meet, and then when we meet an African American, like, who are you? Like, we muscle up now. Now we muscle up.
Each other. We mistreat each other.
Yeah.
And we are having this conversation because we need to change this. Nobody wants to talk about this, but we need to change it. And the only way we can come back to God in a way where we of what He built in us. He built a resilience. Where's your spirit of resilience? To worshiping somebody that don't deserve to be worshiped because they colonialized you. I'm not saying everybody, but those that was part of this, and today they're watching and benefiting from what their forefathers have done. It is time to close that chapter, my people.
Oh, yes.
It's time to close that chapter and become the man and woman that God created you to be. And stop ducking and hiding and acting like you're slaves when in fact you're not. Because I've been to Africa. I see how they treat each other. As soon as they see black, they treat each other horrible. In Latin America, all over the world, we don't treat each other with respect. Let's change that. Let's stop mimicking those that have oppressed us. If you want to mimic your oppressor, go into business and mimic that. You understand? But it's time now for us to change this mindset. And in order to change this mindset, we need to have these type of conversations now. Not when we go back 500 more years of slavery, now. And that's why in Panama, we are having this reunion, coming back together, the kings, because the kings are in Africa. Not all of them are respected because they're sitting back watching what is going on into the country. Once you were powerful, become powerful again. You understand? So if anybody that would like to ask a question, because we're going to talk, if any of you would like to ask a question, go ahead and ask that question so our panel here can answer those questions, because we always cut off. Okay, I got 45 minutes. I have an hour. Well, I don't feel like cutting off now because I feel like we need to talk about this. Senator Jaime, you know,
that's right.
I really do, because we're always being pressured on time. You understand? And that pressure is for a reason. You see? So let's talk truth. You see, those of you that are watching, you know, come with the questions. What do you have to say? Because I'm sick and tired of all of us saying we want to go back to Africa. Is Africa ready for us? That's the real question. Are you ready for us, Africa? Because when you come here in the Americas, in Latin America, I see how you treat us. And let me just say this point. Not everybody. Not everybody. I got to say that. Not everybody.
Of course.
Yes. So those of you, February, what is the date? February
5th. it's the first Saturday of February, the first Saturday of February 2022. We're going to be meeting, coming together as people of the diaspora and community. Again, it's celebrating our beauty, our humanity within the African diaspora. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So everyone that even if you don't know about the African diaspora, one thing we believe is that, as we all have been talking about and discussing, we have a common heritage, and we are coming together to acknowledge that. And
Yes.
it's going to be cultural performances from all the groups. We're going to be doing the cultural performance, dance group, dance performance on stage. We're going to have a speech. We're going to have an awards. We're going to have a fashion show. It's going to be a fashion show. These are the beauty. These are the colors. The colors of the African diaspora. These are the colors of the African people. We're coming to put on full display our culture and our beauty.
Yes.
We're going to celebrate our humanity. This
Yes.
is, I think, this I think is one of the few events, if not the only event in Chicago, that we don't necessarily call event. That's why we call it a ceremony. Because in Africa, each time there is an important or significant moment in the life of the African, whether it's a naming ceremony, wedding, or installing a chief, something significant. We go through this ceremonial process. We go through this traditional, customary activities to
Mm.
signify the gravity, the importance, the
Yes.
the the hugeness of whatever we're doing.
Mhm.
So this ceremony is designed for that. That
Right.
that the African diaspora will not come together just so we can listen to music and buy some African clothing and then go home and eat some African food and go home. This is not
Right.
this is not necessarily like one of those. Even all of those are important. This is
Right.
intentional. This is intentional bringing us together to go through that cultural experience. Again, the goal is to bond, help us bond, and to interact. And as we do this every year, you know, we are able to connect. We are
Yes.
able to bond. We are
Yes.
able to mentally free ourselves from hating each other. And so it's going to be very, very spiritual. It's going to be very, very cultural. It's going to be very emotional. But
Right.
at the end of the day, the overarching thing is that it's the joy, the celebration that
Right.
we're gonna be experiencing is the ultimate thing. We will go through
Yes.
all of these things to say we are happy that
Yes.
in this dispensation,
When you're in
we're,
action, you in
yes,
action.
we're
It's
taking action.
action.
Whether you are a black person from
Yes.
Brazil, from Guyana, from Jamaica, or from Nigeria, or from Senegal. It
Yes.
all American, Black African American, wherever you were born, as long as you are Black or have the African heritage, African color, melanin color, you know that you are from Africa, and so we want to accept that, and we want to
Yes.
come together and celebrate it. So,
Right. We have a
w-
question,
yeah.
Senna. Can we touch the topic of the door of no return?
The so the door of no return. I don't know if you were talking about the historical door of no return where the slaves,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So that particular door is one that has a lot of emotions to it.
Right.
But now that door is no longer the door of no return; it's the door of return, right?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
yeah, because
And
yeah,
I wish I had some pictures, because when I was in Ghana, I
yeah,
came through the door of return. And one of the things that I've experienced in Cape Coast is they talk about the door of no return, and they don't really touch, that once they left, what really happened. And in my experience, and some of you might think like, wow, she's going off, she's going crazy, but this is how I felt when I went back. When I was there, in October, of the door of no return, and they took me, it's like a dungeon, and the
Yeah.
experience and the things that Africans went through waiting for the ships in order to be taken. It's very emotional. But one of the things too that we have to start thinking about is the door of return. The door of return. You don't have to go to Ghana to experience the door of return. The door of return to me is more spiritual. It's more when I find myself, I can
And
walk through any door,
mental.
and mental.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Knowing
when,
knowing
yeah,
that no knowing that you can be loved, or you are loved by the African, if you are an African American or Central American or Caribbean.
right.
The mental door of return
It's
is that
the
I can
exactly.
connect.
Yes,
The African does not hate me. That should be the door of return. The door
that's
of
right.
return on the reverse side, the African should know that there is no closed door on the African American side to us.
That's
That
right.
we can go to their community, we can interact with them, we can intermingle with them, and nothing bad is going to happen. The mental
Exactly.
door of return.
Yeah.
And I think that is the key. That's a very powerful statement you made. We don't have to go there to
We don't have to
experience
go physically. Yes.
but if you do get a chance to go there
Yes.
as an African American, or as someone who was born outside the continent of Africa, if you get a chance to go there, you will have an experience in your life that you will never forget. Now,
Yes.
if anybody doubts me, go watch Steve Harvey in Ghana.
Yes.
He shared his testimony after his experience going through the door of no return. Now, that said, this Sunday, actually, we're talking about on the Progressive Mind Show at, say, 4 p.m. I'm going to be talking about some of the leaders of the African American community in Ghana, because right now there's a large African American community there.
Yes.
And what we're going to be talking about is the bill of return, because they want to make sure that when African Americans are coming home or returning to Ghana or even visiting, you have such an easy transition. Also, more so for those who want to have green card or stay permanently, right?
Right.
You want to make sure that you have a smooth transition into the system. Now, things are not all that perfect yet. So the
They're
leaders
still
of the
preparing. Yeah.
Yes. So the leaders of the African American community there, who have been there for decades, are going to be on the show, and they're going to be talking about the importance of this bill, which they are trying to push through the Parliament of Ghana, so that when you all come home, it's a seamless transition. So it's going to be a
Look,
very interesting conversation. Yeah, this
Right.
on the
that's
show
good.
this Sunday. So,
Yes.
Yasanto, I'll send you the flyer, and you can put
Okay.
it on your platform so that
Yes, I
folks
sure
can
will.
tune in. Yeah, folks
Right.
are tune in this Sunday. This Sunday coming at 4 p.m. It's 4 p.m. Central, and it's live on Facebook and YouTube. So
Right. You wanted to
Dr.
say
Linda,
something, Jaime? Go ahead.
now what you said, now you got me feeling like, that you don't have to physically go over to
That's a
Africa
burden
to
on
experience
us.
the door of return,
It's
right?
here.
And I started to think, when you
Yeah.
said that, I said, oh, wait. So since you put it that way, I can say that I've been through that door.
That's
And the
right.
way I
Already.
went through was knowledge of self.
That's it.
Knowledge of self is what
That's it.
opened, what brought me back to
That's
Africa.
right.
The man you see today started after I left after I got out of school.
That's
I
it.
learned more about Africa, more about who I am as
That's
a
it.
black man, as an African man outside of these schools, these European, these
Cool.
colonized schools,
Yeah.
these systems,
Yeah.
these engineering systems,
Yes.
colonial systems. I
That's
learned
it.
more about myself outside of that.
That's
And
it.
when you said that, I said, wow, so I actually made it through the door
Already.
There you go.
based
And,
on
I'm going to
reading
share
and
something
knowledge of
else
self.
with you. I'm going to share something else with you that's very spiritual. When I got there, I felt, wow. It took me 500 years to get back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt. That's what came into my spirit. Even though, and I'll tell you why, because I'm still searching to find out who is Dr. Melody Harris back then. I came straight through from generation to generation to generation. And when I got there, for some reason, I know that spirit of resilience just kept going through for centuries. And when I discovered now who I am, I don't need to be physically anywhere. It is my mind that have traveled centuries to get back home. So when we talk about Africa, Africa is not physical. Africa is within me. So I can be any part of the world
Right.
and
That's
be
right.
that African woman
That's
that
right.
I am. And
Mm-hmm.
that woman of God that He created in order to be resilient as I am, in order to be powerful as I am. And I don't need anyone to tell me who I am. I don't need anyone to define me. I already know it because I know who created me. And that is what we need to be. And that is what we need to seek. Now, the next question from Latifa is how can we share perspective between Africans and African Americans on a mass level? We're doing it now. One of the
Exactly.
powerful things that we have is this media that we're not using. We need to use what is given to us. See, God gave you this in order for us all to communicate, for all of us to educate each other. Those of you that are watching the show that want to be part of this show that you can share, you're welcome to do so. And we're going to go through really quick with the questions that came up.
Now let me respond. Let me
You want to
respond to
respond
that
to
question.
that? Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So
Yeah.
you were spot on by what you said. This is how we get a communicate the conversation going openly and on a large scale on topics on platforms like this. On the Progressive Minds, it is we do this regularly. We do that as well. So you can follow this platform, these two platforms, at least in my understanding of from my knowledge, having done this for 4 years, I know that there aren't too many folks that openly have these conversations. So that's what I'm saying, confidently saying that on this Dr. Melida platform and the Progressive Minds platform,
Yes.
you can be assured that we openly engage. Actually, we have a series that I call the Diaspora Convo, where we have folks representing the African diaspora on the show, like 5 or 6, 7 people, and we're just talking about differences. Another open way we can handle this, we can encourage this, is the exchange ceremony that is coming. Mind you, is going to be streamed live globally, and we're going to have, hopefully, because the auditorium can take 1,400 people. Now, without COVID restrictions, we should be able to fill it out. If not, we're expecting 700 people. Imagine a people of the African heritage, like all of us from different walks of this country, coming together and engaging in this spiritual and cultural way of interaction. That is the bond that we need. We are openly saying that forget those differences that we used to have.
That's
Now,
right.
brother and sister, I know now that you don't hate me and I don't hate you.
That's
Right.
right.
You
That's
eat
right.
you eat this food and I eat this food. We just cook it differently.
That's
Right.
it.
You dress this way and I dress that way. You act like that and you do like that and you talk like that because we have moved. We have been separated over 400 years. And so our traditions have taken different forms, but it's the
That's it.
same. But it's
It's
the
the
same.
same thing.
So
Yes.
we're bringing the different styles of the culture together, and now we see one big culture. We're like, oh, okay.
That's it.
So we
Yeah.
are not necessarily all the names that we have. It's okay. We can't change the names now, but what we cannot change is our DNA, the African DNA in us.
Now,
Right.
I agree.
Let me just add to that question. How can we share perspectives between Africans and African Americans on a mass level? I feel like music. Music is a universal language.
Yeah.
If we can figure out a way to incorporate that into music, that will be it. Because music is a teacher.
Yeah.
Music is a teacher, and I feel like if someone, I don't know who can, maybe it could even be my sister, you know, teach in your music, start to speak on these things that we're speaking on here. If you put that into music, that can reach people on a mass level.
I agree.
I just wanted to say that.
Listen, let me add to what my brother said. That's a very powerful point you made. Listen, imagine, so one of the top artists in Ghana, Africa, Burna Boy, Wizkid, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And in America, there are a ton of them, like huge stars. Imagine, let's say, someone like Jay-Z or Wizkid or Burna Boy doing a collaborative music together in a very Afrocentric way. It's that
powerful.
But
your mindset has to get there.
No. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah. The masses mindset is, it's in a way that we know that it is now. But what I'm saying is, like he said, this culture thing. If we have these two people that a lot of the African youth look up to, coming together and doing something on music, the masses whose mindset has challenges begins to open up. You'll be like, oh, here is Africa, here is America. Actually, you know what I'm saying? That cultural exchange on stage, on the world map stage, just opens up the mindset.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Right.
There was a question I wanted to really, if you don't mind, I wanted to respond to.
Yeah. Which one?
Law, the one on the screen right now. It says, He says, how can China and the new colonial? Okay, so the issue about China is huge, but Africa. I did a show of this with China colonizing Africa, but Africa is no longer going to be colonized by any other race. It's not going to happen again. Because you know what? I don't think that there has been a time in our history where a lot of Africans, including non-Africans, rooting for the diaspora and calling for Africans to come together like in this dispensation. Mind you, spiritually, 400 years was celebrated in the United States, right? 2019 was 400 years.
400,
Okay. Biblically, it says something. I feel like it's an end-to-one era. Now, I'm not saying that is what it is, but I'm just putting two and two together and saying that in this dispensation, Africa is not going to be colonized anymore. The giant that was sleeping is waking up. Its children are waking up. We're connecting the dots. Africa is going through its challenges, but what China is doing is taking advantage of what has been there for ages. China is filling the vacuum that has been left, or the vacuum that has been created due to our history. Now, that vacuum has been there also because, guess what? African Americans are not going to Africa to do business. So there's a vacuum.
Right.
Indians can come in, Lebanese can come in, Europeans can come in and do business. Chinese too, they're like, what? All these resources and our economy is growing. We want China to develop. We're going to Africa too. Because in Africa are all the resources that feeds the entire planet, okay, or the entire earth. So if everybody else is going to Africa to grab resources, then China, because we want a lot of all these resources to feed our development or our infrastructure development that's going on in China, because we want to compete with the US. So we need all the resources. So China is going to Africa to do what it's doing. What the point actually I'm trying to make is, if African Americans around the globe can begin to at least check out Africa, so that you can begin to take opportunity of the business, and you begin to take advantage of the business opportunities, some of the resources there. I think that it will go a long way, because in your absence, in the absence of the African American, the Caribbean, and all the Black Africans who live outside the continent of Africa, sending your resources or trying to build take some advantage of some of the resources in Africa. In the absence of that, the Chinese will freely take it. They will take it because there's no competition.
Right.
So give them some competition. I know African Americans and people in the West, Africans, African Americans, Caribbeans, and all of that, they will travel to any other European country. They'll go to Rome, you go to France, spend, that's good. But if you were to go to Africa, you probably might be able to flip that 10,000 or 5,000 that you spent in Spain. You might be able to flip it to 100,000 in 3 months, because there is that much of opportunity there. So all I'm saying is, do not shun Africa. Yes, it might be a little expensive to go to Africa than to go to Europe, but please check out an African country. Visit, see it for yourself, because there's such a huge opportunity. And I'm not going to blame China. I blame China for maltreating, some of them maltreating and treating some Africans badly, but they don't do it a lot. They don't do it a lot.
Yes.
Chinese go there, and they work and they make the money and they take the money back to China.
Right.
But
exactly what happens in our community.
Yeah.
This is exactly the problem in our communities. Yeah. Everybody come into our communities, build their fortune in our communities, and don't pour any of that money back into our community. Right. So the Arab that has the corner store here, the Chinese man that has the fruit stand around the corner, they're making a fortune off of us and then sending that money back home, building whatever they're doing with that money. It doesn't stay in our community. That's the same thing what you just said. Yeah. That's exactly what's happening right here.
Exactly. So we have to start cultivating the culture of trust investing. Africans should feel free and feel comfortable to say, "What, I have some money. I want to set up some business on the South Side," right? Just like now, some of the conversation is that, "Oh, you know what? It's a bad community. I don't want to go there." But
it's dangerous.
But the Indian
everybody else is there.
The Indian is there. The Arab guy has his store there. He's telling you the liquor that you're drinking.
Right.
So if you're the African, the Indian has been doing this business there for decades and he's making his money. So what is there? So if it's the crime or it's danger, he's making his money. The Chinese come and set up their beauty shop there.
That's right.
So what I'm saying is, as Africans here, we can break off of that and say we can set up business in African American community too.
That's right.
The reverse is also true. The reverse is also true in the fact that if an African American has worked there all their life, they have their pension money, they have their retirement money, 401k, and you have like 100,000 in your 401k and you're retired, please don't. I know you work, and you don't just sit on the money and enjoy it. Take a little portion of that, and do a research, go spend like a month. Spend like a month in an African country. I promise you, that if you have any small business acumen, you can become a millionaire with 100,000 at least in a year or two.
I believe you. I believe you.
And you can employ a whole bunch of people. You can transfer knowledge. That knowledge that you use, that intellect, and the knowledge that you use to build America, you can use it after you've retired. You can use that knowledge to develop the people that look like you.
My brother, Alinko, everything with what you saying. I'm hearing Dr. Melida right now. with mindset. All that you said, at
Yeah.
the end of everything that you said,
Yeah.
it goes back to the mindset. Because we can, listen, we can open up a business in our community. But if the mindset of the people isn't right, they will skip over your business and still support another man.
That's
So
true.
everything, with everything we've been saying just now, I'm hearing Dr. Melida, the mindset.
You can't do anything without the mindset.
Mindset, right, man. It's the mindset. It starts there.
So
Because
what's
when
gonna
you capture the mind, you got the body. The body gonna do what the mind. It's the mind. Our people mind not right yet.
So what's gonna help the mindset, my brother, is a lot of culture, right? Like you said, music. Everybody listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
The youth listen to music, and if the youth get it, it's a game changer, because that's where the masses, that's where the strength is, that's where the numbers are, that's where the smartness is, right? So if they get it, so we're gonna have to look at the message in our music. We're gonna have to look at the way, we treat culture, and everybody may not do it, but if a few people start it and we're consistent with it, and we're sharing on social media, we're using the power of social media. You know what I'm saying? We hashtag it. We having gatherings and events, and business events, not just events, but intentional events that is designed to work on the mindset. And
Yes.
as we do that, we encourage our kids, our young ones. Let's not go to these gatherings without the children. Let's take them there. Let's take the little ones to this diaspora gatherings, diaspora
Right.
meetings, whether on social
Right.
media or physically, so that even if they're not participating, they are seeing, and then subconsciously it's going to change the mindset. But for the grown folks, this is what we are doing.
Exactly.
What we're doing now, and the consistency and the persistency of this, and for folks who are watching and contributing and sharing, like Dr. Melida said, is what we can do to unlock the mindset.
Yes.
That is the main challenge. So we are all right. The mindset is the main thing. That's what Dr. Melida, your topic is on point. Mindset.
It's the mindset.
Maybe we should do a hashtag and say mindset, hashtag mindsets.
Yes.
And make it go viral.
Yes. Change your mindset.
Yeah.
And put that hashtag or whatever you guys are saying. And I want to say too that I realize how much the mindset has to do with our freedom. And this is why in Panama, May 18 through the 25th, this is why I'm asking the kings. I'm not asking governments in Africa. I'm not asking organizations in Africa. I am asking the kings, because the kings' mindset also need to change. So before they come to our event, we will be having conferences with each other privately in order to educate them also about their brothers and sisters in our region, because they don't know. All they know is what is about Africa, Africa, Africa. They need to learn more about me, about you, about our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. They don't know. They're not just going to come to Panama and have a ceremony, because we're going to have a ceremony and it's going to be shown worldwide. And in that ceremony, we are going to discuss about what our ancestors have done and how we can now correct it. This is why they're coming, because we need to learn, we need to realize something. And this came to my mind like 3 years ago. How is it that after what we have been through in our region, in Latin America, in America, and in the Caribbean, how is it that we were able to keep our culture? Not all of it, but we kept majority of our culture. That takes resilience. That takes the power of God in order to be enslaved, and at the same time, we have kept the culture. So now when we come back with each other, because when I was there a couple weeks ago, when I saw I went to a restaurant, an African restaurant, and I'm sitting there eating, you know, and I'm like, man, they had a brunch, curry goat, you know, they had lamb, and they cooked it the same we cooked it. And I'm saying to myself, wow,
Yeah.
how is this possible
Yeah.
after 400 and something years
We
that
still.
we went from one generation to the next?
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The problem here is that we don't know that they're cooking what Africa don't know that we are cooking the same thing. We are dancing the same thing.
Yeah.
We are, you know, doing all that. You don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is why in Panama on that date, we're going to have a couple of things going on. We're going to have the culture. We're going to have forums that we're going to come together and we're going to exchange information, which is important. We're going to exchange our culture because once you see us, you know, dancing and all these things, you're going to say, Africans are going to say, my God, these are our people.
Yeah.
You see? So once they see, so we're having 2 days of business. We're having the ceremony. We're having the tours. We're having the culture, the heritage, the art. We're having all of this. And finally, we're going to come together and we are going to exchange information with each other. At that point now, when we talk about 2 days of business, guess what's going to happen? We are going to start doing business with each other. That's the key. So what Alinko is doing, what I'm doing, and what many of you out there are doing to bring us together, we all need to unite together. Let's do it now. Because you shouldn't be doing your own thing. Let's do it together. When you
let's do it
send me
together.
stuff, we can promote it. Look at how Alinko and I are working. We don't compete with each other. And let me just say this to the audience. We cannot afford to compete. We're not in that position. They have taught us to compete with each other. Do you know why? None of us are going to make it if we continue to compete with each other. Only one going to survive and the rest going to die. So from now on, I'm sending out a message to all my brothers and sisters. Let's not compete. Let's work together. And I'm just going to go through real quick the rest of the questions real quick. And I think, and then this person said, factual, unity is key. And that is true. And togetherness, we're going to do it because we keep talking something that's very important. Let's come together. Let's unite. Let's do this. You can't do it without this, the change of the mindset, because we don't realize how damaged we are. We are really damaged. But guess what? We can fix it, and we're going to fix it. And that's why Jaime is saying what he's saying. And that's why my guest Alinko is saying what he's saying. And what I'm saying, it starts with the mindset. The things that you say about yourself is because you can't love me if you don't love yourself. That's the point. You see? So if you are a brother and I want to work with you, if you don't love yourself, you can't work with Alinko. You can't work with Jaime. You can't work with me. It starts from loving yourself. And that's why I wrote the book, Unveiling the Illusion. Know Who You Are by Dr. Melody Harris Barrow. Get the book because that book actually helped me to be who I am today. So we're going to go into closing and unity, because I'm telling you, we had a good show. I've never done a show almost 2 hours. But you know what? God is saying, keep talking because they're listening. I want to thank all of you for watching our show. We're going to come back next Thursday if possible. And I think we're going to keep talking about these topics because it's important for us to release all these negative things about us. And it's going to bring us closer and closer together. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on again. I just wanted to show you guys one of the pictures here. This woman, her name was Anastasia Escrava. She was forced to wear an iron muscle all her life in Brazil because she was beautiful. These are the things that we went through. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today, because I am telling you, I don't want us to go back there. So I thank you. May God bless you. And I'm going to leave you with the event that's coming up May 18th through the 22nd in Panama City. And thank you for all your comments and questions. May God bless all of you. Good night.